you cannot understand someone you are standing above. And most people who want to help start by deciding what the other person needs. I did that for years. It took me a long time to notice it never really worked very well.
Alvin, you have been doing this for 40 years. Kenya, India, Thailand, Singapore. Where did it actually start?
With 200 wheelchairs on a Sunday morning in 1999.
Tell me about that day.
It was on the 14th of March 1999. I conceived this project, A Day in a Wheelchair, to create awareness about wheelchair inaccessibility in Singapore. Run totally by volunteers with the Singapore Adventurers Club, the Handicap Welfare Association, and the Singapore Action Group of Elders. We had 150 able-bodied participants, senior officials, architects, urban planners, corporate leaders, put into wheelchair and sent out into Singapore on 17 planned routes. Over 200 wheelchairs on the street that day, overcoming curbs, getting in and out of toilets, traveling on buses, withdrawing cash at ATMs, and negotiating gradients that nobody ever noticed.
So, they experienced what it's like.
Not quite. That's the part where people missed. Every team went out with a wheelchair-bound volunteer alongside them. That disabled person wasn't being helped. They were the guides. So we had a senior architect who could not get up a curb, being helped by someone he had probably walked past 100 times. For a few hours, the able-bodied person was the one who couldn't cope, while the disabled person was the competent one. You cannot feel superior to someone who is better at this than you are. And that is the whole lesson. And no one had to be told it.
And that's Inflow.
Yeah, Inflow is arriving and listening. Not so much to collect information, but to understand what a place actually feels like from inside it. The Chinese have a phrase for what it requires. 平常心, ordinary mind. You meet a person, not as a case, not as someone to be pitied, and not as someone needy who requires your help. The moment you make someone out of the ordinary, you have stopped seeing that person.
10 years later, you started teaching pottery to blind people. Where did that come from?
I discovered pottery in 2001 and started Clay Street, a small pottery studio with my teacher. I had also been around the Singapore Association of the Visually Handicapped since the 1999 project. Well, the two things sat in my head for a long time without connecting.
And then?
Look, pottery is one art form. You don't need eyes for it. It is entirely in the hands. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. But seeing it was not the hard part. The hard part was everything after that. Who teaches, where, who's kilned, what clay, who buys the work, and what does a visually impaired person earn from it rather than just enjoy it. Many questions to ponder, many answers to uncover.
So, what is through flow?
It is the quiet part, the part that looks like nothing is happening. It is a period of, I will call it gestation. You sit with what you have heard until you understand what is actually needed and what is actually possible. And then this matters. You mobilize everything beyond yourself. Your friends, your family, organizations, strangers. Almost nothing that I have done was done entirely with my own resources. Through flow looks like doing nothing. It is the most important part, and it's the part that everybody skips. Clay Insight ended up on television. But the thing that I cared about is that the people who had been told what they could not do sat down and made something with their hands and were actually paid for it.
Tigerland started by accident, didn't it?
Yeah, in 2007, my family were going to India. A visa problem stopped us, so we went to Thailand instead. And wandering around Chiang Rai, we met the Watasiku family, hill tribe rice farmer. They fed us, we stayed. We went back again the following year to plant and harvest rice with them. Well, I did not plan any of it. I just show up and watch carefully.
And it became a business.
Yes, a social business, an eco-farm stay. Urban family come and live the rhythm of a rice farm for a few days. It creates a second income for the family alongside the rice. And that is outflow. And outflow is not the exciting part people imagine. You plan boldly, but then you execute with attention to very small things. Where do the guests sleep? Is the water safe? What does it cost? What do we charge? Who answers the email inquiry? And what happens when it rains, for example? Plan boldly. Execute with minute attention to detail. Most good ideas die in the detail, not in the idea. And you stay accountable to the family, to every person who gave you money, to every guest. If someone funds you, they own an honest account, including when it doesn't work.
We welcome family or student or any group can come and learning. You can learn how the rice grow, how the rice plant, how to bring a water comes to the rice field.
Kenya, you've been going back for 50 years.
In 2011, I went on a one-year sabbatical with my wife Jean and our daughter Robin, who just completed her primary education. In Kenya, we stayed for 3 months in the Children's Garden Home and School. It was founded by Moses in 2001 for orphans and children rescued from the street. Now, over 8,000 children have come through it now. 500 are there today. I've been back in 2012, 2016, 2018, 2022, 2023. I went again this year in 2026 for its 25th anniversary. I run around 30 projects, built classroom, perimeter walls, constructed a special education block, started social businesses with sewing machine, a bakery that employs special needs youth, and most recently, solar electrified the home and the school. Now, almost none of that was my money alone. I was the conduit. The generosity really belongs to many kind donors and sponsors.
Why keep going back?
Because that's the part that nobody does. Let me tell you a story. Stanley Kittiley came off the street when he was just 7 years old. I watched this boy grow over the last 15 years. Today, he's a teacher at an international school in Nairobi. And he goes back at weekend to mentor the younger brother and sisters. Now, from an acorn to a mighty oak, that took 2 decades. You cannot see such transformation and flowering in just 1 week. Follow through means going back as 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, and finding out what actually happened, not what you hoped happened. Sometimes the answer is less than you thought, and that is useful. That tells you what to do next. Now, anyone can plant something. A gardener keeps coming back.
So, you've described 4 Ds. How do they fit together?
Inflow, through flow, outflow, follow through. And then the follow through feeds straight back into the inflow. Because what you find out becomes the next thing you need to understand. It is not a line, it is a circle. And you never finish. You just go round again, knowing more.
And you're now teaching this to the young generations.
Yeah, the young people are the change maker for a better world tomorrow. Now, more than ever, we need to teach people how to connect our hearts together, not by Wi-Fi or AI. That is key in this program. You cannot understand someone you are standing above. If you can meet at eye level, and that is when you finally see them. And then the real work can start.
What do you actually want a student to live with?
Not a business plan, not a fundraising amount, a habit. The habit of finding out before deciding. That works on a stranger in a wheelchair, and it works on your own grandmother. I'm not trying to produce people who help. There are plenty of those. I'm trying to produce people who find out whether they helped. Well, good to do well, better to do good, best to do good well.